friends. Today we are celebrating Week of the Young Child with Family Friday. I'm going to be giving you guys some tips on how to make a read aloud at home successful. So the first tip I have for you when choosing a book is you want to preview the book. Read the whole book. The cover might look great, but the inside of the book may not have the moral of the story that you want to tell, or might not have a very good story that you want to read with your child or find interesting. It's important that you find something interesting for you and your child to read, so that way you guys can enjoy it together. And next, for a read aloud, you should encourage your child to make predictions. The predictions do not have to be right, just like a scientist would make a prediction about something and then test it. That's the same thing you can do with reading. Make a prediction about what's going to happen next and then see if it happens. The next thing I want you to do is point to cues. So you'll see in the story that we're reading today, The Napping House. In this story, I'm going to be pointing out cues to help your child decide what comes next. You could point to the cat and have them sort of determine that might be what happens next, or that is what we're reading about right now, by pointing to it and giving them little cues while you're reading the story. When choosing a story, there's ways that you can look online and you can look at reviews. They usually give you a synopsis of the book that sort of explains. So if you're trying to teach your child something like writing, math skills, sequencing, there's stories that can help you out with that. But be mindful that not all stories are of the highest caliber. So you really want to be previewing those stories, like I said before. And also, I have a few medals and awards that you can look for when you're looking at children's literature. So the first medal that I found was a Newbery Medal. The Newbery Medal, if it's on a book, is given to the author for the America's Best Children's Book of the Year. So that's a Newbery Medal. That's a good one to look for when you're looking for authentic literature. The next one is the Caldecott Medal. This one deals with illustration. So it's given to the artist for the Best Illustrated Children's Book of the Year. The next most common one that you see on children's book is the Hans Christian Andersen Award, and this is an international award that recognizes a work with lasting contribution, and this can be for authors or illustrators. Those are just a few of the medals awards, the most common ones that you will see on a book. It doesn't mean that if a book doesn't have it, that it's not valid literature. But those are some things that you can look for that'll help you out when trying to choose literature that is authentic and genuine. In this book today, The Napping House doesn't have any awards on it, but it's a fantastic book with fantastic illustrations. So don't always pass up a book because it doesn't have an award on it. You can look for the award first, but then also you can read the book, like I said, to preview it and see if it's something that you would enjoy reading at home with your family. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through a read aloud that I would do with my students. Most likely at home, you'd probably have the book turned towards you to read to your child and point things out. But since I'm mostly in a classroom setting reading to children, I'm going to read it this way for you guys today. You can notice while I'm reading, I'll add inflection like excitement or sort of catch the moments of what's going on in the story. That's a fun way that you can add in excitement about literature and reading for your family as well. Okay, so we have The Napping House by Audrey Wood, illustrated by Don Wood. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone and in that house, there is a bed, a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that bed, there is a granny, a snoring granny on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that granny, there is a child, a dreaming child on a snoring granny on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that child, there is a dog, a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Which animal do you think is going to climb on next? I see one waking up. Let's see. It was the cat. And on that dog, there is a cat. A snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that cat, there is a mouse, a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a dreaming house, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that mouse, there is a flea. I wonder what will happen. Can it be a wakeful flea? On a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. A wakeful flea. Who bites the mouse? Oh no! Who scares the cat? Who claws the dog? Who thumps the child? Who bumps the granny? What's gonna happen next? Who breaks the bed? In the napping house where no one now is sleeping. The end. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me for that read aloud today. I hope you use some of the tips, and I hope you find some great literature out there. You can use lots of different literature, fiction, nonfiction, anything like fairy tales. Find out what works for your family and what really interests your child, and enjoy. All right, guys, have a great Family Friday. Bye.